Good afternoon, everyone. Myself, Dr. J.C. Sharma, and I welcome you all for this very knowledgeable and learning evening organized by Science India Forum. And I welcome you on behalf of Science India Forum. And before we start, I would like you to request to mute yourself so it will not interfere in the presentation. Okay, I think there are still some noises, but we can go along with that. So, Science India Forum has reached out to the people and trying to organize learning during this pandemic. And since we all are educators, and we are going to learn today about the changing phase of education on e-teaching during and post COVID-19. Before I hand it over to our president, I would like to remind you that there will be a question answer session after the resource person completed her speech, and you can write your question answer in the chat box and will be picked up by our expert. There is a possibility that we can answer only limited questions because of the time frame. So what we will do is, if your question is not attended today, you will be answered by our expert via email or during the next sessions. One more thing which I would like to remind you all that we have sent you a link for the feedback form or feedback link. So we would like to request you to complete the feedback form after the session. And I would like to request you to be honest, so it will help us to organize such events and improve us and help you to learn whatever we need. Again, thank you for joining us. I would like to hand over the meeting to SIF President Mr. Deepak Laharke. He will introduce about today's evening and our guest of honor, Mr. Deepak Laharke.
Thank you, Sharma ji. Good afternoon, teachers.
Good afternoon.
And
Good afternoon,
one and
sir.
all.
Good afternoon.
And good evening for those who are attending from India as well. It gives me immense pleasure to welcome you all on this webinar. COVID-19 pandemic situation brought uncertainty and changes in normal routine. And this also created a new normal. This online version of meeting and seminar become a new medium of virtual contact. Current pandemic situation set new demand and supply, and so the education system has also adopted the change. But our teaching fraternity, coping with the new requirements, and certainly there are many changes and many challenges. So teaching and learning process need to be reviewed in a new perspective. Science India Forum, Qatar, take this opportunity to welcome you all for this first webinar. And in our mission statement and our activities, we are always supporting to empower the teachers and provide opportunities for the students. Most of the teachers are quite aware of Science India Forum Qatar activities, but for the sake of new teachers, let me brief about Science India Forum Qatar. So we started in 2005, a group of professionals came together and formed Science India Forum Qatar. And since 2006, we commence our activities in association and coordination with Indian schools in Qatar. In 2015, we associated with Department of Science and Technology, India, and launched National Children's Science Congress program here in Qatar. We also affiliated to Indian Cultural Center and functioning under the aegis of Embassy of India, Qatar. In 2019, we expanded our reach and associated with international schools in Qatar. And we set the stage for our future generation scientists and innovators. So this is our vision and mission statement. We strive to ignite interest in the science to make a career in scientific research. And these are our major activities we undertake. So there is a Shastra Pratibha contest, which is similar to the VVM, Vidyarthi Vidyan Manthan, which is conducted in India by Vidyan Bharati, DST. We do conduct teachers training programs and workshop, and this is the part of this activity. We do conduct Student Science Congress, as I told you that it is based on the NCSE guidelines here, and the top teams get a chance to participate in National Children's Science Congress, which is held every year in India. We do celebrate important days, birth anniversaries of great Indian scientists. Important days. Last year we conducted International Year of Periodic Table. This year also we are planning to celebrate some of the important events. Then we do conduct student and teachers interaction with scientists, and we have conducted various interactive sessions for the students with renowned scientists. I can name a few: Dr. Vijay Bhatkar, Dr. G. Madhavan Nair, Dr. V.K. Saraswat, Dr. Srijan Pal Singh, Dr. M. Valiathan, Dr. Ranade, Dr. Lakshmi Rao, Dr. Satish Reddy ji, who is currently chairman of DRDO, and so on. And even we are giving opportunity for the students to visit premier research institutions in India like ISRO, IICT, IARI, that is Indian Agriculture Research Institute, Indian Institute of Chemical Technology, the National Productivity Council, National Physical Laboratory, IITs, JNU, etc. Even the BrahMos facilities. So student gets that opportunity to visit and interact with the scientist. So today's program is being organized in coordination with Vigyan Bharati and under the guidance of Sri Abgaji, our GCC coordinator. Thank you, Abgaji, for this opportunity and support. And dear teacher, this is just a beginning, and we will plan to bring more interesting program for you during this COVID lockdown period. So to conduct today's webinar on challenging phase of education, e-learning during and post COVID-19, we have an eminent personality, a passionate teacher with student-centric approach, Mrs. Mayuri Dutt. She is having 33 years of rich and versatile experience in academics, administration, career counseling, child therapy, human rights, and rehabilitation management. She is administrator and mentor for CBSE ICSE schools in 6 states: Punjab, Uttar Pradesh, West Bengal, Andhra Pradesh, and Haryana. She is also a national co-convener of Vidyarthi Vidyan Manthan, an online talent search examination organized by Vidyan Prasad, Vidyan Bharati, and NCRT, similar to what I told you, Shastra Pratibha. She is the founder, headmistress, and ex-rector manager of Barsat Indira Gandhi Memorial High School, Kolkata, West Bengal. And she has traveled all over the country and interacted with more than 75,000 students and 5,000 principals and teachers in her career. She is also the recipient of Saraswati Vidya Puraskar for Best Innovative Principal in 2003. She holds to her credit 3 Guinness World Record created during the 5th India International Science Festival.
Screen में आ जा.
So, and she has contributed in the preparation of study materials for VVM and Shastra Pratibha contest, that is India's contribution in science and technology. She has conducted similar programs for Science India Forum UAE also last week, and more than 750 teachers benefited from UAE event, and many from India as well. So once again, please help me welcome Mrs. Mayuri Datta and request her to take over the session. Dhanyavad and thank you very much.
Namaste from India. Hello everyone. Good evening. On behalf of Vibha, Vigyana Bharati India, I convey my wishes to one and all present today in this Science India Forum, as well as the participants who are attending the program. It is indeed a wonderful experience which I gathered. It was rather a wonderful experience I gathered last week on Saturday when I conducted my first international program, I would say, with UAE teachers. It was really wonderful. I really could feel that I was conducting a class, in fact, with so many people around the country. And there was a pin drop silence. People were listening to me. I myself don't know how I completed 1 hour of my session there. And with the questions which they raised, I could understand that the team of UAE really have listened to each of my slides, each of my presentation, and they had come up with the correct questions in the end to help me out to answer it. Before I start, I would like to share what I always worry as a teacher. I started at a very young age, and as a teacher, I always had one feeling that what exactly is needed to become a good teacher, or what exactly makes a good teacher great. I would put up the same question to all of you before the beginning of my session today, and I want if you can answer this answer, because I have been in a habit of collecting the answers from all those who come up with this particular answer, because at one time, after so much of experience traveling around the world, interacting with children and others, in fact with teachers, principal, I would one day like to publish my own experience, my own book, and maybe your answers may get a space in that particular book, where I would get to know that what makes a good teacher. So please note it down, and if you can answer that while chatting, you can just give me an answer. I want to preserve and save those. I've collected, in fact, thousands of such answers from everyone. Somewhere, some students have also said, a good teacher eats apple. Someone says a good teacher sings song. So it's different kind of answers I get. And then I come up with some kind of a presentation where it helps for me to tell a teacher to be good and great. Today, I have been asked to deliver on the topic, changing face of education. We did have this feeling that 20th century was different. Let's plan for 21st century. All of a sudden, COVID came and everything is changed. There is no such bifurcation that what was in 20th century which should be different in 21st century. Everything has changed by COVID. Now, we personally always feel that whenever we're talking about teachers, we talk first of Albert Einstein. We believe that education is not the learning of the facts, but training of the mind, which we need to think all the time. Keeping that in mind, I always have one thing in my mind, that what makes a good teacher great, changing face of education from 20th century to 21st century. A teacher can have all the contents and pedagogy, but the focus should be on creating a bond with the child in the classroom. And a need to promote free thinking and interaction. That is the main thing a teacher should always do, because she's considered as the second mother And if she's considered a second mother to a child, we need to see that if a child is taught properly in school, the similar teaching should be done in the if taught at home, should be taught in the school. There are 5 behavior shifts that needs to be brought into the classroom, which include getting students to shift asking why instead of saying yes. From passive learning to exploring concepts, from fear to the textbooks. To being hands-on and practical skills, there need to be more to and fro between teachers and students in the classroom. Stating that teachers should have a personal vision, how teachers should have energy and enthusiasm, as well as be ready to learn and constantly be self-aware. We must realize that there was a curiosity in the world among students as the school system was suppressing it. We need to model a place that would foster creativity. But coronavirus changed everything. Everyone, before even adopting the 21st century skill. I just am having some technical problem with my slides. Can I request Abga to take over showing the slides? Can I just request Abga to take over the slides? Abga, can you hear me?
I think he is in process, ma'am.
Yes, I can hear you.
You can continue.
I just wanted to take over my PPT because some technical problem came in here. I'm unable to do, yes. I'll just go to the 4th one. Yes. Everyone says teaching is so easy, just like walking in a park, but only teachers know that park is a Jurassic Park with a variety of dinosaurs. The knowledge is power. Next. Yes, to the next. Next, yes. Knowledge is power. It was Francis Bacon who said knowledge is power. However, Takeda Shingen claimed that knowledge is not power. It is only potential. Applying that knowledge is power. Understanding how and when to apply that knowledge is wisdom. With these truthful quotes, we can conclude that sole knowledge is not sufficient. If we want to develop life skills, what is important is that we should know how to use and apply that knowledge. I just want, Abga, we go back to 8 C's. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Now we connected. Socrates, the first teacher of the world, he had centered upon these 8 C's. But the current education system in 2003 adopted 4 C's. To the next slide, please. Next slide. The 4 C's are collaboration, creativity, consciousness, and communication. I have a small video to show to you. It's all talking all about 4 C's. Click to the video. Can you hear the sound?
Abga ji,
Yes.
Abga ji,
Yes.
you
There
need
is
to
a
manage the
volume.
sound.
There's no sound in the video.
Yes.
Can you
Can
replay
you
with
explain
sound?
audio?
Yeah.
Actually, this all happened. I also wanted the virtual background behind me, and my system is hanged now to get the virtual background. This is virtual reality of life. Anyways, we can restore the video of 4Cs. Others are not able to see. No, those two, no? No. Deepakji, can you hear the volume? Like there is some problem. I think this is it mute or you can hear the volume?
We can't hear.
No, there is something.
You
some
can't
issue
hear,
in-
no?
Some issues in
Yeah,
audio.
there is some problem with the volume, Mayuridi.
I just don't know what happened today. This virtual background has just created the virtual reality of going wrong now.
No worries, ma'am.
Excuse me.
We can try it one more time. Yes.
Can
Yeah.
you please check whether audio is shared?
Can I help you?
Yeah, yes,
Audio
yes.
is shared. Ask them to check if audio is shared. Computer audio
So
is there.
when you share the screen, you just see that you have two small checkbox.
On the left, down.
Both the checkbox ticked mark, then only you can share the audio as well.
Please check whether audio is shared. Computer audio. On the left side, small box is there.
You share the screen and you see that there are two small checkbox. Check that and you can we can hear the audio.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
In an online conversation. Students learn to articulate their thoughts in a clear way while gaining a sense of agency for having a voice around larger community issues. Collaboration refers to students' ability to work with others to accomplish a goal while being flexible and sharing group responsibility. For example, an 8th grade science class could work in small teams with other nearby middle school students to investigate local environmental issues. Students can assume different roles within their teams depending on their talents and interests. For instance, some can make observations, some can record data, and others can share out the results. Creativity includes abilities such as brainstorming, refining ideas, being responsive to ideas from others, and making ideas tangible and useful. For example, a 3rd grade class might work together to brainstorm innovative ways to address recycling. Students decide to create a recycling campaign in the school, including making a public service announcement video for an upcoming assembly. You can see from these examples that technology, when used strategically, can really enhance how you support the 4 C's in your classroom. Digital tools can help students think critically, communicate, collaborate, and be creative. And we know that these skills help foster higher order thinking, which is crucial for 21st century learning. So, what do the 4 C's look like for teaching and learning in your classroom?
Building a new school culture, the psychology of how people learn. Learning resists confinements to a single definition. But most psychologists would agree that it is presumes the development of comparatively lasting change, which emerges as a result of experience. The common misconception is that learning takes place in formal education, institutions, exclusively and finishes once you get a diploma or a degree. However, it is more of an active or passive process which goes throughout the entire life. How does mechanism of learning actually works? How do we obtain knowledge of learning information and skills? Behaviorism. That's a major main part in an educational system. In 1913, John B. Watson, an American psychologist, wrote a paper, Psychology as the Behaviorist. In this ground piece of work, he laid the foundation for a new school of thought and termed it behaviorism. As a result, the school of behaviorism spawned three notable types of learnings came out: classical conditioning, operant conditioning, observational conditioning. Ivan Pavlov, he trained dogs to check that through classical conditioning, how he can salivate the dogs. In case of operant conditioning, B.F. Skinner, he also continued with the training of the dog, and he also came up with the conclusion that operant conditioning can be done if you remove certain items and keep some items to teach the person. But in the end, finally, A. Bandura, after conducting several experiments, succeeded in confirming that children who observe their parents are more likely to model their behavior after their actions further, similar to the action of teachers. So in this respect, why I share this slide and this achievement of these three renowned psychologists is that teachers play a very important role in teaching the children, because children, they copy their teachers, if not their parents or the family members. Knowledge can be acquired through amalgam of process is what is finally learned when we read a lot about these three famous psychologists. Will technology replace the role of teacher is our question now. Can you imagine the world today without internet is my another question. I hope these two questions will be noted down by teachers. If so need be, I'm not going to only answer the questions of my teachers. Somewhere I want the teachers to answer my question also. So please note down, will technology replace the role of teacher? Can you imagine the world today without internet? We go to the next slide. Technique of creative thinking. Creative techniques are ways to promote creativity, to purposefully generate new ideas for the development of or for the solution to a problem. In the application of creative techniques, it must not be ignored that creativity is in a complicated interaction with talents, knowledge, skills, motivation, personality, traits, and environment. The better known techniques of creative thinking are brainstorming, brainwriting, and mind mapping. I've come up with a slide where what exactly is mind mapping. It's a very creative thing. Vidyarthi Vigyan Manthan has come up with a lockdown activities known as mind mapping. So mind mapping actually is a technique in teaching where circle ideas are linked together with lines, which enables the students to understand the subject better and make it easier to recall what they have learned. That's in my next slide. If you see the graph, next slide. If you see the graph, you will see how the children, after learning, have to prepare a mind map by letting us know the summarization of the work or program or the studies which they have done in a short form. This is in practice in the Western countries since long, but in 21st century, we are trying to adopt this. And from 2003, it has come into schools. Affluent schools in India are actually giving this kind of an activity for children's learners from class 8 to class 12 to summarize that learning process, whatever the teacher is teaching. Nothing can be done in isolation. It is supposed to be collaboration. So learning life skills is very much important right now to teach to our children. In fact, after COVID-19, the ministry in India, HRD ministry, has already announced from CBSE that right from class 1, they are going to make sure that children take up at least one skill-based subject so that they know a lot, some skills by the time they grow up. So learning life skill is very much important right now. Life skills entails all the personality traits that humans have, which help us in dealing with everyday challenges in life. There are, for example, organizational leadership skills, worldly wisdom about relationship and human affairs, communication skills, business skills, etc. are some of the new buzz. Learning encourages independence. People who regularly seek opportunities for learning and growth are more prepared to compete for better opportunities in the workforce, no matter what our current employment status is. We can never know what the future holds next. Right now, we have been rather exposed to new learning system. Why I said we have been exposed? Because when the teachers started teaching online, most of the teachers had never taken a proper training how to teach online. And this teaching online has brought us technological stress, how to overcome it, how to do tasks, what to do. I will further go for it. School leaders must master the art of creating and nurturing a positive culture in the school is the main buzz now. We have to make sure whatever we are doing, we have to do it in a very systematic and in such a manner that we know what we are presenting to the children. As today's children are not studying alone in a classroom, but they are among so many people who are beside them and they are learning. Technology has become stress. It's a double-edged sword. On one hand, technologies have helped made our lives more convenient, like online shoppings and so on, and enjoyable because social media, video games, these are things which are giving us some time of a fun. On the other hand, some of these said technologies have caused stress and other negative effects to our mental state. Modern technology is aiming for reducing work and help in everyday tasks. Stress can't be always related to technology, honestly. We have to be more specific to talk about technology. There is so much information at our fingertips now that if we have a question, we can receive answers within seconds. It becomes an overload of news. Truth is, we cannot having anxiety about knowing what's going on, whether it's important or not, contributes to our overall stress and mental health. As far as technology advancement is concerned, it's how we prepare ourselves to recognize that sometimes technology can fail and we just have to be patient about it. Next slide. Next slide, Abga. The world has changed. Technology in the post-COVID world. Crisis has historically accelerated change and COVID-19 is no exception. Sheltering in place leaves us frozen in a physical space while we move towards new digital exploration. We think all that extra screen time is temporary. A mere lockdown not. We are sowing the seed of a permanent and systemic shift post-pandemic. So if we talk about e-teaching, e-teaching has walked into our spaces abruptly, and now we have to make sure that we have to learn to live with e-teaching. Will we remain immersed in our apps and digital spaces, or will we reclaim our pre-2020 lives in the physical world? How is artificial intelligence, technology, and data science being used as powerful instruments to enhance our understanding of the importance and spread of coronavirus? And what does it all mean? Why the workplace will never be the same, or many questions still not answers. So if we talk about e-teaching, we all know in 2019, it was strictly prohibited that no student, right, even sometimes the teachers were also not allowed to bring mobile phone to school. And right now, what's the situation? The mobile phone is having the school inside it. So online education has been viewed as the primary mode of education now, delivery in the pandemic, with distance education as the alternative. This is problematic since vast and majority of teachers are not trained to deliver it, while rich and privileged will continue to access education through the means announced. It's the poor who would be left out of the ambit of education altogether, further widening the gap. Now is the time we've entered the drawing rooms of the parents. The school has not only gone inside the phone, but they have entered the drawing room of the parents. And how technology is bringing the schools to a living room is my next slide.
Ma'am, can I take a pause here?
Yes, sir.
Can I request all the participants to mute their microphone, please? So it will not interfere the voice quality of our resource person. Very useful information. Thank you. Ma'am, please continue.
COVID-19 has turbocharged efforts to make remote learning enjoyable. Right now, what we are doing is we are teaching children online. We call it remote learning. Prematurely, COVID-19 has killed the debate on whether it's okay to put the tablet on your child's hand. Teachers and parents are almost unanswerable because they are not at all ready to say yes or either no, because they have to take up this system of acknowledging and adopting teaching children online. That online learning for school students has become part of new normal now. Those school children of metro schools were learning online even before COVID. And the only change which COVID-19 did was changing the mindset of skeptical parents. Those who were not ready, they have also given the laptop to their children. And right in the morning, we see children sitting in front of the laptop saying, "Good morning, ma'am. May I go to toilet?" "Yes, ma'am, we have done our task." This is all the teacher is interacting with the child, and they are far, far better in operating these devices than many of us. Like today, I also face problem. The system also hang because of taking that virtual screen. So this is the condition. They had no choice but to adopt it. As I said earlier, the phone was always kept outside. Today, the whole entire school is inside the phone. When we talk about remote learning, I'll come out that how certain trends in education is changing the pace of education. That's my next slide. Remote learning, as the name suggests, is a model which allows students to attend school or an institute of learning virtually. Students can attend classes from the comfort of their homes through video and access subject matters and content online. Remote learning usually employs the use of various technology such as class forums, discussions, sites, and threads. Video conferencing, classes, pre-recorded videos, and solution sites. Much like students, the teacher can also be made to mentor or be brought in remotely with massive open online courses. This is the best course provided in the world, known as massive open online courses. And in my further slides, I will be telling you or talking about all the websites through which you can just collect material and teach children. So as I said, that MOOC is the best platform which we can learn how to share the technology among the children. We also have other courses known as WikiHow, Khan Academy. I just came across and I've gone through Khan Academy's head talk yesterday, where he was saying that so long I was not serious while taking my virtual classes, but it seems since the next trend is virtual classes, I need to modify my system also where Khan Academy is concerned. YouTube, Edukai, iTunes, UCoursera, edX, Udacity, and Udemy. These are some sites where we can try ourselves, learn ourselves, and teach the children. The popularity of remote learning has increased by leaps and bounds. As a result, students have access to a wider scope of knowledge, and in this process, it becomes customized to the needs and demands of every student. Big data, one of the bigger player and one of the more important trends on this list. Big data is commendable for its flexibility, and it has allowed us to mold our conventional style of teaching and learning. All of the mobile devices and apps that we use can be linked together to deliver an endless supply of pertinent data. The most useful perk of big data is that it can be put to use and applied to classrooms immediately. Personalized learning is a very important thing, which basically we are right now doing. Personalized learning from my point of view is that if we are from a particular school, say DPS, DAV, or any other schools, we are actually making a personalized teaching material, and then we are actually sending it to the student. So if we're talking about personalized learning today, the single most advantageous perk from a student's viewpoint is the process of learning. That is actually customized as per the need of the learner. As such, learning has been personalized to cater to students' need now, and slowly and gradually we'll come up with such a thing that children will start having a feeling of control and confident after getting this kind of teaching from their teachers where remote learning is concerned. In my next slide, I'll talk about how is technology changing the face of education. We talked about remote learning, big data, and my next slide, it's how technology is changing the face of education. As summer approaches, I find myself reflecting on how technology has changed the face of education. From kindergarten to college, students are presented with more opportunities to embrace technology, expand their learning potential, and reach further into the world than previously possible. While part of me longs for the good old times of device-free days, textbooks, and recess, the more logical part of me recognizes the many benefits technology has brought to the educational scene. For one, technology has greatly expanded access to information, from books to podcasts, white papers to videos, all types of information at the fingertip. Technology has made learning possible for many. Learners are able to gain access of their lessons while they are either at home, either in a subway, either in a train, bus, anywhere and everywhere, with the right device and internet. Today I'm in India talking to you, dear teachers, in Qatar. So this is what technology has done to us. Technology has connected people around the world where students have access to peer across the globe through social media channels such as Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Because of technology, teachers can more easily personalize lessons, instructions, and projects for their children. Teachers' role may be shifting to more of a guide on the side as students are taking more responsibility of their own learning using the technology. Rural areas often struggle to achieve the same educational standards, but e-learning is making it possible for rural area to also learn in the same manner the way we are doing so in the cities. Online media, e-books, and learning programs making textbook instinct. The time will come when the load of the textbook will be reduced into one e-book. In spite of this, my hope is that we will continue to pick up a physical book now and then to remember the weight of the book and open it, smell it, and make sure that the sense of excitement possible at that time will definitely promise a new learning system at one time. Technology will continue to change the face of education, allowing people from all over the world to communicate, collaborate, and learn from one another. It should be our goal to facilitate the evolution by providing high quality learning platform and straight from forward from curricular to the careers, development, personal enrichments, and professional diligence of the children. Next slide, please. Choose the right e-teaching method. My dear teachers, you are now getting involved to teach more in an e-teaching method than in a normal physical presence. We all know that in India there is a restriction now. It has been decided that only 33% students will be called to school. even number, odd number system will be there. Children may be asked to come to school for 2 days, or may be asked to come to school 3 days a week, and the rest 3 days they are supposed to study from home. Keeping these things in mind, we need to make sure that the teaching which we are giving right now should be perfect as per the planned program according to the session and the days given for us to teach the children. If I talk about India, in India we have around 170 to 175 working days technically. And if we teach children 175 days, we make sure that a particular prescribed syllabus, one after another, according to the examination, is covered. So when you are actually going in for teaching, so long it's for the some time that we have to do the teaching. But my dear, it's not for some time. If we talk about this session, I think this session, we need to continue it till the month of October, or maybe after that, because of COVID-19, there will be huge absenteeism, and children are not going to come to school, even if they are asked to come on a day when they have their roll numbers as even numbers, or if their roll number is odd number. You may find they are bunking because parents are more protective with their children. They would not let their children leave home and go. Secondly, our children who are up to the standard of class 7, they don't know what is social distancing. So really to inculcate social distancing in them, it will take much of our time. And as we have to learn to live with COVID, we have to make sure that this e-teaching method which we choose for the children should be proper in a systematic form. I'm going to now discuss with you certain points. When you're preparing this e-teaching material, you can just take care of these points which I'm sharing. Choosing the right e-learning program depends upon many factors like need analysis, target audience analysis, task analysis, topic analysis, and evaluations method. Apart from these analysis, there is this very important principle of learning pyramid. Learning pyramid you will see in my next slide, but not now. In this learning pyramid created by the National Training Laboratories, it's specially created for online teaching only. So when you see this learning pyramid, when I'll come to that particular slide, I will specify how the learner is taking these kind of online learning from us. So this pyramid is very important for you all to follow. If you have a paper and plan, please note the percentage what the children are acquiring of learning children are acquiring when you are teaching to them online. Choosing the right delivery methods directly impact effectiveness and benefits for the organization, especially for the teacher who is teaching. The type of contents are learner-centered content. Curriculum should be relevant and specific to learners' need. Roles and responsibility like skills, knowledge, and all kind of learning media for focus of learner. Engaging content. Instructional methods and techniques, creativity should be used to develop an engaging and motivating learning experience. Story-based can be used for engaging as a method of the program. Why I have mentioned this engaging content is all because the attention span of a child is not more than 15 to 30 minutes when they are learning online. In fact, nowadays in the classroom, it's the same situation. If you ask the children to be quiet, after saying 10 times, you will find the class is quiet. And immediately once they are quiet, it starts. Ma'am, may I go to toilet? Ma'am, may I go to drink water? So the same scenario, maybe they're at home, but it's difficult. It's different because they are not in the ambience of a school or a classroom. They're in the ambience of the house. They may be sitting in a dining table. They may be sitting, lying in a bed, and they're doing. So engaging content is more important, that you should at least, if you are having a Zoom video talk with the children and eye-to-eye contact, if you are sending a video to the children, then in that concept, you make sure that videos are accurate and they're more interesting for the children to see till the end. It should not be that the children are switching on the video, after a few minutes, dekha hai, no need to see. So make sure that you engage when you prepare your content. Personalization, I already talked about. Make sure that it is as per the need and requirement of the class for which you're making this program. If I talk about the learning pyramid, I'll just keep a gap here. I'll talk when I'll show that slide. Next we have synchronous and asynchronous type of learning. What is synchronous learning? Synchronous learning is chatting, one-to-one. So sometimes, when you're starting this online teaching, you can make a group of children, and in the group, automatically on spot, make sure you physically chat and make a synchronous style of teaching. Or you can go for asynchronous. You can inform them that certain videos are sent. Make sure these videos are studied and complete your task. Self-study is a different mode that you can send a planned program to a child to be completed within a stipulated time, and then make sure that is collected from you. Video and audio tape. Nowadays, there are some schools who are not unable to go for Zoom because there are security problem for going in for Zoom or other mode. So nowadays, schools are actually taking an initiative of preparing the chapter video based, and then they are sending, or they are doing CBT work or WBT work, that is computer based classes they are doing, or web based classes they are doing. It depends on the platform which you choose to teach the children. There is blended e-learning also and instructor led training also. This you can do direct in Zoom. You have mobile learning, the easy and affordable one, because mobile devices are there with everyone around. So the children are also going in for mobile learning. Simulation is another style of e-learning, which is a highly interactive and relies heavily upon graphics. When we are giving something children, we make sure that there are graphics given to them so that they solve that. There is video and audio. Importantly, there is often 3D kind of stuff for children to engage them more, and they're more interesting nowadays. Another system of teaching online is that you should have a game-based program. You can tell your children that we are going to give some task and you will be awarded some kind of prizes. So we call it gamification of a task. I've also prepared a specific slide for gamification, as well as then my next slide is about learning pyramids. Next slide, please. Next slide up. Yes. This is a learning pyramid. I would like the attention of my teachers and audience on the screen. The learning pyramid is a very important system to teach the children. It's the designing learning contents. Also depends upon the type of e-learning method you would like to choose. And its analysis phases here. And I have just mentioned the students' average retention rates. If a lecture is delivered, their attention is 5%. If reading material is given, it is 10%. If audio visual is given, yes, there is 20%. If demonstration is done, there is an interest among children, and that comes to 30%. But if you have one-to-one discussion, as I said, chat, then there is a 50% chances of attention, attention as well as retention among children. If you give them tasks for doing, yes, they love to do, they had been doing, they are used to doing from centuries, so 75% is always there. But believe me, teachers, 90% after seeing, they can teach other. That is the best part I've noticed when we are doing online teaching, because if they are learning from you in the morning, they're teaching everyone in the house in the night. Learning pyramid actually illustrates the percentage of learner recalls that is associated with the various approaches. The first four level, like lecture, reading, audiovisual, and demonstration, are actually considered as passive learning. In contrast to the bottom three levels, which are considered as active learning. So learning pyramids really helps to identify the right method when choosing e-learning. Many advanced development tools suited for the modern learners are also available other than these learning process. The next is regarding gamification. I want you all to read this slide thoroughly. I'll talk about the games, but what I have displayed here is all about how you can boost their motivation. It's my next slide. Gamification, it is the use of gaming procedures. The next slide. Such as badges, levels or ranking in a non-gaming surrounding such as the classroom. What we can boost our children, so I've written few things with which you can boost your children. Number one is to boost motivation. You can give them some kind of prizes or smileys or anything to keep that interaction on and to make sure that they're still interested to carry on with the competition with their peer group. You can also think of, to keep them involved, you can make sure that you respond to their kind of interesting work. So to make sure that they have some points given to them, they start collecting those points and they achieve the goals. And in the end, they will be competing against each other. Here you will find good leaders and bad leaders. The last slide can be read by you. It's hard to distinguish a good leader from a bad leader according to Ben Simonton. Here is some advice on how to be a good leader. Treat the children as they are very, very important, valuable to you, and make sure that they have that feeling that, no, if Miss is telling me that's something great, even if they're not present in the classroom, by being home, they should talk about their teacher only, and that's how they can also work themselves. They will treat their peers also that way, that yes, we are doing the work together for our teacher. Next slide. Enough is done. We had to mold the future generation. We are doing the work. Somehow we are making sure that children have to do, they are doing, and they should carry on. This is our policy right now. And our parents are working with us side by side that yes, tasks should be given. They are not doing, they have to do. But my dear teachers, after these children finished their studies with their parents, when they come back home, what is our preparation? How do I prepare the children to have a peaceful classroom, a peaceful class? I've just come up with this feeling that as a psychologist, after the children's overwhelmed children's return back to school, we need to find or follow the policy of having some exercises known as mindfulness. I am just sharing one exercise a teacher can do. Say the teacher brings balloons to school and asks the children to blow them up. And then she tells them to write the names, and each of them can write their own name in that. And then she mixes up all the balloons together and throw them out. Now you can ask the children to search for their own name and the balloon where they have written the name. That's not an easy task. It will be much difficult for children to get their own name balloon around. But if the teacher asks the children that go pick up one balloon, see the name in the balloon and give it to that child. In this manner, you will find that the balloons are equally distributed among the students within 2 minutes. So this mindfulness will be needed time to time now after our children come back to school and join school. After this crisis will not be over, after we adapt to live in this crisis period. So I hope this session, like I'm also talking to you all, and I hope that you are also attentive in listening to what I am saying, because now I'm coming to a point where you will be needing to scribble down what I have to share with you all. Because right now, my next slide is going to talk to you how you can analyze each digital tool to prepare your lessons properly. Next slide, please. Now, I'm going to share the tools useful to deal with the 4 C's. I talked about the 4 C's. The 4 C's were consciousness, they were creativity, they were collaboration, and communication. So we don't have any kind of a tool known as for communication. You go to WikiHow and you will be able to get lots of material connected for a teacher for communicating with children. So, but we'll come to the next rest of the apps where you can get a lot of information, and these apps are going to be very, very useful to you for preparing your e-teaching classes. Next slide. We have Seesaw. This is a consciousness app. If you are teaching anything connected to consciousness, there is Seesaw, World Reader. The next slide, you will see E8D Puzzle, and then it is Flipgrid. There are 4 apps. I'm just showing it to you. If you want, we are just giving you some time to note down the website so that you can just check in and have these apps so that you can teach your children by taking help from these apps. Next slide. These are 4 apps. Just please note it down, because in my last program in UAE, teachers wanted me to show these once again, these slides. But scarcity of time did not allow. But today I've got the opportunity of taking some time, extra time. So I'm allowing you to see. Next slide.
Please zoom the screen. It's not clear.
Anyways, in the last screen, I will give you ample time to note it down. Okay. Now we have, these are communication app known as Adobe Spark Post and Quick. Next is Zoom and Google Meet. These are known as communication apps. Sorry, Zoom and Google Meet. Next. 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 Next, please. SDG Academy and Parlay. These are known as creativity app. If you want to give anything connected to creativity to students, so these few apps are for that. And here comes the last. No, Abga, we've gone further. There were 2 more apps of creativity. Go back. Kindly go back, Abga. CoSpace, Glide. These are, yes. No, go now. We'll go to the last one. Yes, you go to the last one where all the websites are written. Next. Next.
Mrs. Smith, I don't understand why my child got an A- on that project when she
I give
clearly
you 2
deserved
minutes
an
time
A+.
if you want to note or take
Thanks
a
a lot.
screenshot of this
Mrs.
particular.
Smith, I do not understand how my child did not get the lead in the school play. She was born to shine. Thanks a lot. Mrs. Smith, I don't understand why my child is still struggling with these math problems. You are clearly not doing a very good job teaching her. Thanks a lot. Mrs. Smith, I don't understand how you have the patience you do. I love you. Thanks a lot.
I love you. Because this is a video I came across that talked about the perfect parent with the perfect kid before quarantine and after quarantine. So that's why I just wanted to share, because I know this is the present condition of parents right now. I don't know about other countries, but in India, I come across with people who are saying, "Fir se padhai karni pad rahi hai." We have to study again to teach our children. We really give standing aviation to our teachers, how wonderful teacher community is. If there was no teacher community, we wouldn't have been saved of this particular responsibility of teaching excellence. So thank you, teachers, for being so lovely. Here we come up with some lessons despite these challenges we have come across. There are some members whose video is yes, okay. Someone they have to unmute their videos, mute their videos. It's disturbing. With the outbreak of the pandemic, we have learned a valuable lesson, and I'm just sharing this. I think most of you will agree to what I am sharing right now. For some, immediate survival is the only agenda at the moment. For others, it is a challenge to face the uncertainty and figure out new ways of dealing with the new normal. When physical access to wise teachers is not possible, one can turn to the following three teachers for their unique lesson: nature, uncertainty, and gratitude. Nature, it teaches us wonderful lessons about peaceful coexistence and reverence for all life. Uncertainty, there is so much we do not know, and we will not know for some time. There is uncertainty everywhere. The derailed economy, the complex business environment, changes in work practice, the stress, and overwhelmed healthcare professional. This is the buzz in the round, but there is overworked teachers also who are really taking care of the children and looking after them from their own house. Earlier, there was a fixed time, 9 to 5, 8 to 1, but nowadays teachers are working round the clock 24/7 to prepare their online lessons, upload their lessons, teach to children, take back the task, re-evaluate them, conduct exam. So this is something really great, and we were not knowing about this, but we got this to carry on. And there is uncertainty whether we'll go back to the normalcy of teaching in the form which we used to, or we have to continue this. Gratitude is something which is doing great work. We know that we are divided, but right now, this particular pandemic brought us together. Anyone, whosoever is getting an opportunity to do good for the community, they're walking out of the house, coming out of the house, and everyone is helping us out. With so much of deaths and diseases around, it's gratitude, even relevant in the current context. You may also ask, but how the worst has brought us, and they brought the best in us. Look at the method of loving, caring, and giving we see the world over. Gratitude can take many forms of sharing money, food, time, attention, ideas, and kindness. By nurturing awareness, flexibility, and resilience, let us all come and think of learning to adapt the present situation, because some experts say that COVID-19 pandemic is not going away soon. Therefore, we need to learn to live with it till a vaccine is available, or until the virus decides to leave us alone. In other words, let's all learn to adapt. Next slide, please. Next slide. I have actually prepared a graph. This is applicable in India, but I'll be just sharing, because if we talk about CBSE, and if you're working in CBSE school, whether in India or abroad, the rules becomes the same because of the same kind of crisis where we are suffering. So I will talk about that, but before that, how not to bring COVID-19 when we return to work is one small thing which I will be sharing with you. And that's why I just prepared this slide, because we know there are 4 things which may be helping us to avoid getting the virus. But there is 1/5 also. So I'll just say that the coronavirus is a very tricky customer. It can spread through us suspecting carriers and lurk on surfaces from where it can jump to its next host. But there are strategies which, carefully applied, can go on a long way towards keeping the disease at bay. As the world prepares to return to normal as usual, we have prepared some strategies to be employed. 4 strategies as combined therapy. Along with the 4, there is a 5th one, which is even more important factor on which the success of the 4 stands. So social distancing is something we have to live with it. Hygiene is another thing with which we all have to learn to live with it. Then it's screening. We have to make sure that these things are taken care of. And a mask, we need to make sure that what kind of a mask we are using. If we are using a surgical mask, then it's 99% safe. If we are using a homemade mask, then it's only 60% safe. And if you are using an N95 mask, that it is said is the safest of the all, because that's the only mask which protects others as well as the wearer also. So we have to make sure. And the 5th is which is not known and understood by anyone till now. But as a teacher myself, I would like to let the teaching committee know is discipline. We have to have a discipline of following these 4 instructions. If this discipline is there, we will be able to survive with these few things and we'll learn to live. Next slide. Teachers, you can just go through these slides. I don't think so it is essential for you because it is basically the task of the management or the HODs of the institution, because how they're going to prepare to have the children back in school. This is pre-preparation plan, a graph I have prepared because since I'm connected with many schools, I need to prepare and train my teachers and my members and people. So that is why I just made it and I have shared last week on Saturday with the other group of teachers in UAE, and the same I am doing here with you all. Steps to open the school. The first step is we need to call the staff, plan the sanitization and other rules, and make adequate instruction available at various places. The second step we have to make sure is a detailed circular has to go to parents and teachers. Multiple calls, and we have to make all parents be aware of the rule. We have to make sure that we call the children as asked by the ministry of the set place, then train them the total entire process, how like they have to come, and then there should be a very strict discipline in entry, exit, transport, field intimacy, social distancing rules, and so on and on. And after all the students are trained, we have to make sure that we tell them how classes will be conducted. There should be all the rules strictly abided by the children. So that's why I'm saying that the biggest thing which we have to follow is a discipline. So this is 4 hours and all how you have to change the behavior that I have talked about. Similarly, in the next slide, it's all about the management, what rules management is going to apply, how they are going to restrict the presence in each of the laboratories. There won't be any assembly, there won't be any tiffin time, there won't be library class at all. When you're giving homeworks to students, that is also restricted because all diaries have to be cleaned and then given. So a lot of restriction in using hard copies will also come up. So you have to plan accordingly before opening the school, because once if children are trained, they are to follow that. So this way, the next slide, please. And the next slide. Yes, the third also. So if you think that these are useful to you all, you can just take a snap. Now, the next slide. Social distancing in school, how the children will be seated in the classroom. I've just made a graph. 24 feet by 22 is the normal size of a classroom if it's an affiliated school by CBSE. I would be talking about CBSE or ICSE or other state board because the rule is same for a classroom pattern. Here it is said that a teacher has to remain 6 feet away from the children. Today I was just going through the newspaper and I found that 6 feet distance is also not enough. So now, like, I don't know what next I should say. Most of the classroom, if it's because 500 to 600 square feet dimension is around 24 feet by 22. So normally we have around 35 to 40 students in a class. But that has to be curtailed to 16 to 20 students in class, half of it. And the distance is around 63 square feet for primary and 43 square feet for secondary. Why I have mentioned that in Europe, the schools have reopened. Normal classes are being conducted with the same policy of maintaining the distance. So that is why I've mentioned the same. We could come to the next slide where I've talked about options to divide the school into groups. Next slide. This is the option, playgroup 2K, 5, 6 to 12. I just hurriedly I'll show you the slides because they don't carry any importance because it depends entirely upon the ministry how they are going to inform you how to take up the classes and how to reopen the schools. But if it is CBSE, these are the few norms which we have been asked and directed to follow. Next. Now, if we call the children's with possibility the option 1, then in that case, class 5 is going to get around 15 hours a week. Class 6 to 12 will get 15 hours a week. Teachers will have around 40 hours a week of time to work. For them, the time will increase. And the impact is that transport also we have to reduce. They will use the syllabus and reschedule all kind of entertainment, all kind of programs related to the school activities. So that has to be done. So everything will be a big problem. So I'm not going to read the last part for it. There's another option 2. You can see this option 2. I would not explain, but it's almost sort of a reverse. Next slide. Option 2. This is reverse. You can call the secondary in the morning and primary in the afternoon, or in the morning or in the afternoon. It depends upon how when you call. Yes, here you can increase the time limit. So you have 18 hours, and teachers may have 36 hours. So the rest remains the same. You go to the next slide. Next slide. You are an awesome teacher, doing an awesome job. When things go wrong, it is not because of you. It is because of lack of awareness. Like, I don't say you are a bad teacher, but without proper tools to teach online, which may help you become better and take your relationship with your child to a whole new level, that's the promise. For 2 months, our kids have weathered a steady stream of disappointments. As much anticipated things, one after another, has been cancelled with virus restriction ongoing. We know our children are disturbed, and if it carries on for the next month, as we came to know that maybe the schools are not going to reopen before July, and even if they reopen, they are going to reopen for standard 8 to class 10. So for 12, what is the condition is going to be of our children? You all can actually assume, but every tunnel has a light on the end of it. So with this, I would all say to you, my dear teachers, that there is light. We have to make sure that we'll do the reinvention in the purest form of hope. And this is what Phil Vogt has said. I think I also have a take-home message for all of you. But before I speak about my take-home message, I just want to tell you that I also want to walk away with something after this presentation. So dear teacher, if you have anything to share, anything to say, anything to talk, please be free to communicate with us so that this session of mine will give me a fruitful reply after I leave meeting my organizers, so that this initial stage of disturbance should be erased in the end. Cultivate patience and hold on to it. Let us not lose courage, but cultivate the virtue of patience and face the challenges of life with equanimity and fortitude. Let us continue with our sadhana and our prayer. Let us cultivate the twin virtues of patience and faith. Patience brings rhythm and harmony in our chaotic lives. Mother Nature too follows the law of rhythm. Let's also follow the law of rhythm. With this, I would like to thank you for what I had from my end to deliver to you. God bless you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much for your enlightenment for this pandemic. Thank you for your suggestions on mind mapping, learning skills, social skills, technology uses, and expertise of learning. Remote learning and personalized, that's very important because the base of the learning is now become personalized in this era. Engaging content meet need of requirement of individuals. And very importantly with this young generation is the gaming and the fun-loving teaching and mindfulness, which is requirement of our kids to be in this era with the pressure which they are having. I would like to remind all the teachers who are present here, they can ask the question, they can type their question in the chat box. Our expert will choose it. Ma'am, we have 10 to 15 minutes to take up some questions.
Yeah, I have no problem. No restriction of my time, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. So, Sujata ji, our is collecting our question and she must be online very soon.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you, Mayuri ma'am. It was a wonderful session. We have collated some few questions by our attendee teachers. So one of the questions they are asking is, how can e-learning be made effective to teach science?
Ma'am, science is the only subject which can be taught wonderfully through the apps which I have actually shared. The creativity app is the one app which is going to help them to learn science. There are virtual labs, O labs, they can just write down if they want to. There are O labs created known as virtual labs, and this is one of the organization, those who are actually really, you can say, considered as one of the organizers who can explore and walk into CBSE schools where e-teaching and O labs can be combined together to teach science to children.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Another question raised by the teachers is, how can a teacher develop social responsibility in students during this time of e-learning?
I would go back to the teacher to ask this, what does she mean by social responsibility here? This has to be specified.
How can she help the students connect to the society? That is what she's looking at.
See, right now, you can say that we cannot tell the children to take up this responsibility of being social. We are in a pandemic where social distancing is being maintained. So as a teacher, we have to make sure to teach the child properly, other than thinking of giving them or engaging them in other things. Only thing, the shortest form of teaching them about these things is you can ask them to help their parents, help the members in the house, help the maid, child to study, because they may not be having these kind of devices. So they can help the maid or the members working in their house by helping their children to study. These are the basic thing one can do. But today's scenario is such that we cannot teach this one thing to children. Whatever come across, we cannot teach them. Because right now, those who really would like to do this kind of job are also staying at home. No one is coming out. Everyone is really trying to save their life rather than saving the lives of others.
Very true, very true. Another concern a teacher has raised is, how can they support emotional and behavioral disorders in an online environment?
See, this is actually a different kind of a question, because emotional we cannot, because right now parents are disturbed emotionally. Most of the parents are coming up with this complaint, they are not getting up in time, they are not bothered to complete the task. Only if teacher is calling 10 times and they are able to complete the task. They are skipping meals, they are not following the discipline of the house, which they used to once they used to go out and come tired. That was the only reason that they would enjoy with the family and other. So right now, taking care of these two things is not possible in the hands of teacher. But if you bring mindfulness type of activities in between your programs, that will help the child to understand about these things. Otherwise, I would say that we are helpless to come up with these two kind of things which you have said. One thing can be done, you can create these kind of model stories for children to go through it, and then you can make sure that the return is noticed by you. Because it varies from teacher to teacher. If I go back to what I started saying about the ABC of a teacher, I talked about that it's a time we should not go in for a yes, but a why from a child. I will go back to that time when there was a thing that whatever we used to say, our children used to listen to us. But nowadays things are different. So we have to make sure that with this model-based stories and things, we make the children go through it and come up. We cannot work out with these two things known as emotional. Emotionally, we cannot help, because right now, not only the students, the entire family is facing problem. We all in our own houses and in our own places are facing this problem. So right now, technically, I cannot tell you to deal with it. We have to create something to deal with it.
Very difficult situation that we are in.
That is very, very difficult. Now, I can say something, maybe our teachers will abide by that. It may go wrong to that child. Right
Yes.
now, these teachers who are teaching their children have not met the children physically. The pandemic had come at the time when there was a transition period. The exams had ended and they were promoted to the next class. So some teachers, they don't know their children at all. They haven't
Right.
seen them face to face. They don't know their nature. They don't know anything, that who is a sentimental child, who is a leader, who is what. So in that respect, if as a psychologist I give any kind of a verdict, I may be wrong, because you have to know the person concerned before applying anything to that person. So how can we apply when we don't know them?
It has to be dealt case by case, I guess.
Yes,
Yeah.
one to one. Yes.
Yes. One other concern was that how can e-teaching be made applicable for kindergarten? I believe they have a very short time span, attention span, I mean. So
15
how
minutes.
can, yeah.
15 minutes.
So how can
See,
they, apply e-learning for them?
See, in their case, what exactly we are actually doing is, what I can give with talk with my experience, because I'm looking after so many schools. We've come up with newsletter kind of a syllabus. If we are talking about a toy, we are talking about the toy of the child, the texture of the toy of the child, and then the things which are there, how the toy came, and then related to that, whatever words their child is learning, whatever the colors their child is learning. This way, actually, we are teaching. We are not following any syllabi, number one. Number two is that as soon as this pandemic came into our world, the Books Guild, they came up with e-books immediately. And we have these e-books which are converted into video series, so on and on. So if teachers go through the syllabus or the books thoroughly and properly, they should make a syllabus based on the connection between what is available in the home atmosphere. If I talk about my family, how many members are there? What do you do the whole day? How many of you eat on the table? How many kind of utensils are there? How many? This way only we are teaching them addition, subtraction, English words, and new words. Okay. So for primary section, you have to prepare a e-learning performer or syllabus according to the kind of children you are actually rendering to, the service you are rendering service to. If I talk of Indian students, 2 years old, they are basically learning only rhymes and they learn to talk. We have 3 years old, they learn 2-letter word. If we talk about 4 years old, they start learning 4-letter words, 5-letter words, or 6-letter words, and then it becomes a sentences. So we have to frame that particular e-learning material according to the need or the set school, set children, and the ability to pick up. With this e-learning material, whatever you give to children, you have to make sure that that material gets some space in between for the parent to learn and then teach. Because our parents in India, this had never been that parents will read out a book to children. But in Western countries, this is a very common feature that all parents normally read books to the children in the night time. Yes. But nowadays the trend is that they are grown up with e-mummy, e-aya, that mothers have given the mobile phone, the children are busy, they can do anything over the phone, they can download games, they can play games, they can download rhymes, they can do anything. So they have these e-ayas, whatever they have picked up according to the knowledge of a teacher is only we can frame that syllabus. Otherwise, we cannot go according to the books, because books prescribed for smaller children are scientific. It's a Montessori learning method and it's scientific. And this has to be taught on spot. How many mothers are trained to teach the children? So here we should not pressurize the mothers to finish any kind of syllabi or a syllabus. Better let them enjoy their time with the parents, with learning small letters and small things at home in that ambience, And then when they join school, for them missing 6 months makes no difference at all. The difference actually is coming that the parents are not ready to pay the fees. That's all. That if children are not taught, will not pay. That's the only difference coming, basically. Nothing else. We are not a loser if we don't teach the children for 6 months. So I think I would suggest that do not pressurize by imposing a certain prescribed syllabus to them. You understand your student and accordingly you prepare. I'll go back to one of the slides later on after my talk is over, and I'll give you all the sites from where you can collect the information. Even you can also learn. There is e-learning for teachers also available, which is all free of cost. So teachers can also take the training how to teach children online.
Okay. Going back to slides, one of the teacher has asked how the learning pyramid is applicable for teaching English literature in digital context.
See, if you talk about literature, it depends upon what they are teaching. You know, are they teaching communicative English? Because that's what CBSE teaches.
Yes.
So is it, you have to ask that teacher whether it is communicative English or not. Because if it is communicative English, the teacher, I would suggest the teacher to go to NCERT website, and there are books and audiovisual material available, and there is good fun, there is lots of fun in teaching literature through the material already prescribed, planned and prepared by NCERT. So she won't face any problem now teaching literature.
Okay.
Sujata
But
ji,
if only it is communicative English.
Okay.
we have last 5 minutes for question
Yeah,
answer sessions.
Yeah, one last question.
Okay.
One of the teachers has raised a concern that students who are at critical stage of education, that means who are going to appear or will appear this year or next year for the national exam, you know, how they will make a choice in career and how they will be evaluated, and you know, the concern that is the major burning question today.
Our question is a question of millions.
Yes.
Frankly speaking, those who are in the threshold of completing the examination and choosing the career, I would suggest the career concept has changed dramatically. Careers have changed. Yes. So choosing a career would be a great job. We have to make sure that the career which they choose, the subjects which they choose, should be there 10 years from now. The things which happen in 2019 are not there in 2020. So basically, the only flourishing career coming up is artificial intelligence, nothing else. So in that context, I say if she's concerned, we are also concerned. But there, if we talk of CBSE, CBSE has come up with a plan to reduce activities of the students. There were 15 to 17 activities, it's come down to 12. But if we talk about reducing a syllabus, it would not be a nice or good gesture, because so long the required material and topic is only taught to children of 10th standard and to children to 12th standard. This problem will arise only for present, those who have been promoted to 10 and to the ones who are promoted to 12. Even there going to be a vast problem to children who have been promoted, rather they have not yet joined 11, wherein by now 3 months of classes of 11 are over. So basically those who have been promoted to 10, 11 and 12 are not even going to get 8 months of teaching. For them, if there is a mandate that they should have at least classes even on a Saturday and Sunday, which I advise, then I think we will be able to cover the syllabus, but we will not be able to let the children adopt the entire thing. It would be tough. Only the best ones may get the opportunity. But meanwhile, during this COVID crisis, CBSE came up with wonderful suggestions and wonderful offers for children. I would like to tell you that CBSE has come up with skill education to children from class 1. And if children take skill as a 5th subject or a 6th subject, if by chance they pluck in one subject, they will be promoted and they're not supposed to sit for compart exam. It's a very good gesture. It's a very good thing for the children presently who have been promoted to 10th standard as well as to 12. Because this rule has been applicable from the current year. So here I would say that you don't worry. They are lucky. Everything will happen nicely for them. Let the children grow, go and be happy all the time. Don't expose and let them know that they are the children who are sandwiched between the problem of this COVID crisis.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
Thank you,
Yes.
ma'am. Thank you, Sujata ji. Before I hand over it to Ms. Suzy, I would like to take one or two comments from the teachers which who are raising their hands. So I can see one hand, Galaxy A20. Are you here? No. Vipin Vishwanath, is he here? No, I think. Okay. Thank you, ma'am, for your such wonderful suggestions.
Excuse me, Sharma ji. I just want to say, first of all, I'm really sorry for what happened right today. I think you all have not faced the problem while Abga was helping me out. Anyhow, we just planned that we should have a backup plan if anything goes wrong, because Calcutta suffered a lot with the cyclone. So connectivity problem was there. But anyhow, it hanged. I don't know why. Secondly, I initially had asked some questions to teachers. Have anyone answered those in the chat? Just want to know from Sujata ji.
Yeah, there were some answers.
So can we save them and can I have them later on?
Yeah, we can make that possible.
So if
Yeah, we can save the chat and we can share it with Mayuri ji.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because I would like to save those and preserve these answers.
Okay,
But you
ma'am.
can read out only one answer which you think it's the best. What makes a teacher great? Have they answered on this question?
Yes,
Yeah,
they
there,
have.
What did they answer?
I have to go on the top because I am at the bottom, ma'am.
Okay, then it doesn't matter then. Then in that case, you just share it to me.
Okay.
But at least if we could have had one answer on the table.
There
Yeah,
are many answers actually.
Many? Okay.
Yeah, and they're all worth reading. But there is one which can be, which I will share with you. A good teacher is to be a good mentor, caring, efficient. Moreover, has to have the capacity to connect emotionally with her student. If she can instill confidence, growth mindset, and sets high expectations, then she will be a good teacher.
Wonderful.
Another teacher says a good teacher is loving, caring, accessible, enthusiastic, and techno-savvy in order to meet with the 21st century learners.
Wonderful.
Okay.
Yes, that is correctly said. Thank you very much.
Now, since we are crossing the time limit, I would like to invite Ms. Suzy for a vote of thanks. Ms.
Yeah.
Suzy is here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Good evening, all. It's my privilege and great joy to extend the vote of thanks on this very first webinar session held by Science India Forum, Qatar. On behalf of our team, I extend a very hearty vote of thanks to Honorable Mayuri ji for your exemplary presentation and the valuable time you took out from your busy schedule. Your content today will be echoed in our minds for a long time to come. Thank you, ma'am, and we humbly seek your continued support for the upcoming sessions too. I also wish to extend our sincere gratitude to our GCC coordinator, Shri Abga ji, for his continuous support and guidance throughout the years. I also would like to acknowledge our gratitude to all the teachers who have attended the session and made the event a great success. As no program can be successful with a single person, I extend my big thanks to our President, Mr. Deepak ji, and our Secretary, Mrs. Shailaja ji, for their enormous involvement in organizing this event. I cannot thank everyone enough for their involvement and their willingness to take on the completion of tasks beyond their comfort zones. Once again, I thank you one and all. Jai Hind.
Thank you, everyone. So with
Namaste.
that, we come to